Hello and welcome back to HuniePop. Right, I've come to a decision. I can't take much more of this. I've done some research to try and see, what the end game of this game is and roughly how far through it I am, and there is no end game. You have basically seen everything worth seeing. So I have come to a fairly simple decision. This will be the last part of this Let's Play. I just can't take any more than that. So, to those of you who have stuck with this series all the way through, you have my gratitude because... oh god, I think this game might be the worst thing I've ever played. As in, I'm seriously trying to figure out if this is worse than Sakura's Spirit or not. Just so...
It's an asshole test. What's like my favorite thing to do ever?
Shopping with other people's money.
Write it down. Since you're here, you can answer this for me. So, what's your go-to position?
Because let's face it, these are...
I think you and I are going to get along just fine. Don't even get this question wrong. What's like the only season that doesn't suck total ass? Whatever. Good job. What do you want? A cookie?
Yeah, it's just so infuriating, this game, for the simple reason that there's no character, no personality, there's nothing to these characters. They are complete blank slates. There is no point to any of this. And frankly, all this does is just depress me.
See ya.
Because some people are probably going to claim it's because I'm a prude and I don't want to see sexual content in games. Nothing could be farther from the truth. I firmly believe that sexual content in games is a good thing. But when it's implemented like this,
wow, you really are something else, you know that?
It's just bad. This is all the worst elements of the way that the male attitude to dating is viewed. It's this whole, you don't really need to get to know them as a person. Just tell them the lies they want to hear so you can get them in bed. And,
absolutely beautiful. Look at all these colors.
And none of these people have personalities. They're not characters. They're just... hell, I've seen shop mannequins with better characters than these people.
You're good.
Not to mention the gameplay's boring. Let's face it, it's the same bloody puzzle over and over again with a whole bunch of randomness thrown into it.
You didn't have to.
And we've got 8 more moves left. What have we got? Assume all the talent ones.
Really?
Okay.
Are you sure?
So let's do that. Yes, I'm sorry to say that this game has broken me. You know, I maintain I have a certain level of professionalism. I like to finish the games that I start for this channel. But there just comes a point when it's not worth it anymore. It's not worth the pain. You know, especially if it's this. Yeah. You know, if there really is no kind of end game that I'm going for, you know, what is the point?
You have. Yes. Baby blue. Ask me something. I'm 20.
And yet every single one of them has answered the question without slapping me in the face.
Okay.
And let's face it, the Steam,
hey.
the Steam community hub for this
here?
one does have people who have just ground their way through this in order to, you know, get absolutely everything. And God, are those people crazy? I mean, I understand obsessive completionism, but you know, there comes a point where it stops being obsessive completionism and just becomes masochism.
You really don't have
So talent and flirtation are both maxed out. Romance is pretty high. Passion's a bit low, but
to get me stopped. Okay.
Yeah. Your conversations are boring. You have nothing interesting to say. Sorry if I'm being really depressing in this part, but
The sun is gonna.
yeah, but that's the thing. This game is at both parts boring and making me want to hurt something.
Aw, nice.
Yeah, which is not a good combination.
No, not ever.
Well, I got a couple of extra moves, even if I did hit the negative who's on a water. There. Extra move. Probably should have gone for the sentiment. I was going to say only 2 moves left, then I suppose I got that.
Alright.
Boy, the earrings.
That's awfully nice of you.
And this is the last move, unless I do that. And that's it. So yeah, I think if you don't achieve a lot of success early on, you're just going to end up in a loop of failure. Because, you know, the numbers you need to achieve get higher and higher and higher. And you just get stuck in a constant, endless loop of pain.
So, what kind? Thank. Anything you?
This is the problem. Yo, I'm not. I'm just trying to figure out what they want to hear, rather than actually.
I'm not.
Saying anything even vaguely truthful.
Is there anything in your past? That's good.
You know, because the attitude of this game just knocks me the hell off, frankly. You know, its attitude basically amounts to, oh, lie to them and get them into bed, and it's an appalling way to operate, frankly.
I guess I'll be seeing.
Feels good to be done with classes for the day.
But
I wanna. What? I see. What?
yeah,
Oh, you remember?
I'm sure there's at least 2 of them in this game called that.
Question time. What's? Tell me about it.
Oh, bloody hell! All right.
Bye bye.
I say it's just this game's attitude that's.
Look who's here.
Now, I don't doubt somebody would tell me, oh, you shouldn't get so annoyed, it's just a game. But, you know what? I should get annoyed.
What are you trying for real? Yes!
Because, you know, the attitude of it's just a game is the same as it's just a film or it's just a book, and these things influence the way people think, the way people act. You know, I hate to think how many of my morals have been formed based on games. You know, I like to think I am a better person because of the things that video games have taught me. You know, stand up for what you believe in, do what you think is right. You know, hell, even my attitude towards fighting, which is basically never start a fight, always be willing to finish it. You know, I maintain that comes from a lot of the the RPG games that I played when I was young, because their attitude always seemed to be, you know, is there a way out of this without combat? Maybe. But should you always be prepared for a fight if it comes to it? Absolutely. Which I think is an important attitude to have. You know, because unfortunately, when people say violence doesn't solve anything, you know, that would be a nice world to live in if that was the case, but unfortunately it isn't. There are times when violence is the only solution, because some people only understand violence.
You shouldn't have.
Yeah, there are some people who you cannot reason with, and that is sad, but it is true. And ultimately, you should be prepared to stand up for your beliefs.
Oh, cute.
And I have been taught that by video games and by everything else I learned growing up.
Come on, dude. I'm not going to invite myself over.
Well, I think you just did, given the unsubtle nature of that hint. But yes, and what this game is trying to teach is that you should.
What you want to do?
Is that you should lie, you should deceive, you should bribe, all to get a woman into bed, and then there's no point ever talking to her again once you've seen her naked. It's the worst kind of crass bollocks, and it's pissing me the hell off. You know, I strongly considered just ditching this series entirely and not bothering to upload it, finding anything else to upload, but ultimately, you know, I need to show this as a how not to do the ideas of a dating sim. Because let's face it, if you're trying to create a dating sim, it should be a game about dating. And dating is about getting to know the other person, figuring out if you're compatible.
Hi.
It's not just about getting them naked. And now that this game thinks it's hilarious for the underwear collecting minigame.
Let me ask. Are you? I'm. What, like? Yeah. Yeah? Oh.
Oh, I already asked her that, didn't I? Oh well. Who cares? Who else we got to talk to? Her and talk to her in the evening. Talk to her in the evening. She's out of town. No idea how you tell when somebody's going to be out of town or not.
Hey. You really want to... Yeah.
Yes, as I say, if this... Yeah, frankly, if you've stuck with this series this long, all I can really say is thank you, because yeah, I do my best to be entertaining. You know, I don't claim to be the funniest person, I don't claim to be the most interesting to listen to, I don't claim to have, you know, a particularly attractive voice or anything like that. But I like to think that I can waffle in a moderately entertaining way. You know, while playing... Yeah, for the most part, I want to play games that I think you will find interesting to watch. You know, games that either tell a good story or have some really interesting visuals, something like that. But occasionally we come across dreck like this. And unfortunately, you know, if I'm going to seriously claim to be a reviewer, then I need to look at stuff that is awful as well as stuff that's actually good. Am I going to enjoy it as much? Of course not. You know, that's why it's awful.
You.
But it does need looking at. You know, because you can't truly appreciate the light until you've seen the dark. You know, I appreciate that's an old cliche, but it is in many ways true. Need a bit more sentiment.
It's not too bad.
There we go. That's perfect.
Whoa, seriously? Thanks.
Got a bunch of joy on the board. Some extra moves.
Aw, nice.
And that was really effective. And I still don't know why they feel the need to bloody spell everything wrong. Yuppie outfit. Okay. So, here, I have this thing. And this other thing.
Holy sh**. I'm not sure what I did.
And then... Okay, do we want to increase our romance? Or... Now, given that passion's a score multiplier, let's get a couple of levels of that.
I did to deserve this, but I can't... If I...
I don't think you've even told me that.
Oh... I don't mean... Why did...
Apparently she doesn't want to hear that I liked her hair.
Do you... Yeah, right?
For the record, I don't believe in the paranormal. My attitude to the paranormal is basically the same as my attitude to everything else. It would be supremely arrogant of us to rule it out completely, but I maintain that I would like to see some hard evidence before I actually believe in it. You know, I'm not going to say definitively that it doesn't exist, because there's no possible way I can know that. but there's also no possible way I can definitively know that it does exist. Does that make sense? I don't know, it doesn't matter who we talk to at this point.
Okay.
Because everybody who was available to talk there, we should be looking at talking to in the night period, so that it actually
Good to see you. How you holding up?
affects things, which, you know...
This... I have this...
Yeah, it should be, well... That's the thing. I think the father deserves to have a voice in his opinion, but it ultimately has to be the decision of the mother. Does that make sense? You know, so the father should be able to say, I think this, but ultimately the mother has to be the one to say, we will do this.
I've got an idea. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Aw, you're...
There's somebody with meditation as a hobby. Right. Let's talk to the psycho fairy. Because let's face it, she's a crazy fairy.
Looking sharp, boss.
Yeah. Have this thing and this other thing. Can't afford that thing. And I can't even know what she drinks. I don't care.
You got this part never gets.
Couple of new presents. Consume all joy. Earning +1 move for every... Well, okay, that could be extremely useful. That's the thing. Anything that gets me more moves is potentially very useful. That isn't.
Sold.
And anything we can level up. We could... Let's level up Passion again, because you never know when a score multiplier is going to be useful.
I know it can be a real... Don't worry, nobody can see me. People just think you're eating alone.
Yes. Because who doesn't love eating alone? Actually, to be fair, I do quite like, you know, eating when there's nobody else there. It's kind of... It's difficult to motivate myself to actually cook anything complicated if nobody else is going to be enjoying it. Yeah, but if I'm just going out for a pub meal or something like that, it's actually kind of relaxing just being on your own. Okay, we've got a bunch of broken hearts in place. We might as well make use of them for some extra moves. Get those extra moves. Okay. 11 moves left. Do I have that thing that turns all broken hearts into passion ones? No, I don't. Consume all joy tokens. I don't think we need to use that yet. Let's save it for an emergency. Okay, let's convert them all into sentiments. Because that could be useful. Give me a chance to build up a reserve. That only gave me one extra move, which is not exactly a massive gain. Drain all my sentiment though. Limited number of moves left.
I can't even. I just
and
can't.
we might just have lost this.
Noise.
Noise? What the hell kind of a phrase is noise? You know things are bad when I'm getting annoyed by weird things like that. 2 more moves for victory. And that's victory. Yay! Another one of these really obnoxious things. I think after this I'll be calling it quits. Because, yeah, I've now officially had enough.
Seriously, tell me, how long have you been waiting for this to happen?
I haven't. Because there is nothing interesting about this bloody minigame. Yeah, the constant panting and moaning just sounds hilariously unrealistic. I assume, anyway. Yeah, all this is doing is reminding me of when Harry met Sally. The infamous, I'll have what she's having quote. Because that's pretty much what it sounds like. Yeah, and given that she was deliberately talking about faking it there, the fact that you're trying to emulate that, or it feels like you're trying to emulate that, doesn't exactly instill me with confidence. God, this minigame is annoying. There we go. And we're done. Yes, yes, thank you. Okay, now looking at that, this is more proof that they didn't bother at all with the idea of a female protagonist, given what she's clearly meant to be doing there. Right. Okay, people, I am officially done. If you've stuck with this series right to the end, you have my gratitude.
Well, at least I know I don't have to teach you anything about that.
So, I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in future series that will hopefully be less awful.